So what about? There's been a lot of talk lately in the cannabis world about these toxic vapes and these toxic chemicals and fake vape cartridges and like I was telling Ro, people are going to be really paying attention to the sourcing of cannabis, like where they get their cannabis from. In fact, I met some people at the Spark event who work for Shimadzu, and they just do testing of cannabis for chemicals and purity. So, where do you source your cannabis, or how do you make sure that you have cannabis that's chemical free and it's healthy for your consumers?
Everything I do is all indoor grown,
Okay.
organic. And other than that, it's out the dispensary. So I have growers in DC.
Okay.
No, it's legal there, so I have a few growers there. Then I also pick up from the dispensary when they had like crazy brands. When they had like crazy strains, I'll pick up from them as well.
Awesome. 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 Yeah, that sourcing, like I said, is going to become more and more of an issue as time goes on, especially with the corporations jumping into to cannabis, and they're about mass producing and putting chemicals and they're really not in it for the culture, right, Ro?
No, not at all. It's all exploitive these days. Bob, me and Loris were talking on a previous show, making examples in hip hop, rap music, all the way to Star Wars, Star Trek, and the comic book films, in which they'll take something with a core audience that's really faithful to whatever this property is, and they'll take it and exploit it and almost disrespect it and run it into the ground. I don't think that's any particular focus of persecution on cannabis or CBD. I just think that's where corporations are right now, just seeking to blatantly rip stuff off and disrespect it into the ground and make every last dime out of it. So I think that's definitely something people involved in the cannabis and CBD culture have to be wary of. Have you considered that and how to protect you and your brand from that type of thing, or even a corporation come along and try to duplicate what you're doing?
That's the biggest reason why I trademark the actual name and the brand and the images, so that couldn't happen. Because if someone makes a similar product, they can't call it that. So,
Yeah.
so for me to be the one that invented the term cognac, I feel like it's going to be a regular word that everybody's going to know. I got protection on that. So I did think about that, and that's why I never even really talked about it until I had that going. So yeah, I was cognizant of that from the start. Like you said, like culture vultures, they see a culture that can be made profitable and can be scaled to mass market, and they'll come in and push out all the people who actually are the reason that they're even able to capitalize on the market.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, to me, they're almost like at first, they come into this thing almost in an attempt to give the fans or the people in that culture what they want on a more mass scale and on a higher level, and then they just end up disrespecting it completely. But now I'm looking at them like locusts, like they just come in and just eat everything and leave the waste behind. And I really think the only way to protect, well, I think the only way to really survive that, because it's hard to, fight off these people with unlimited budget. But I think the really only way to really survive that is to really invest in and serve the culture and establish yourself with them. So when they play out what they're doing, which only lasts like 2 or 3 years, then the culture is still there to ride with you and pick up the pieces and keep going. And it sounds like, Bob, you've really done that with your efforts to establish yourself with the culture first, and then bring it out on a higher level for a more mass production.
right, that point you just made was a great point. Because it's almost like just when you were saying that, I just thought Wu-Tang Clan. The Wu-Tang Clan been out since like '93, and they're
Yeah.
still relevant because they was true to the culture.
Yeah, they were definitely true to the culture. All right, that is probably one of the most authentic groups in hip hop history. Like they never strayed from their original style. They never tried to be like anybody else. They never tried to change with the times. It was just Wu-Tang. It was what it is and what it was, and still is that. They haven't made any kind of shift, and it's just pure MCing.
You know what's beautiful about Wu Tang though? They always maintained Wu Tang and what it stood for. They didn't violate it for nothing. They was able to make different products tied to it. They even had a deal with the Shaw Brothers property of kung fu movies to bring that out under a Wu Tang banner. So they pushed their brand and what it represented as farther than I think anybody thought it would go. But then the members was able to break off and do different things. Like RZA started doing soundtracks for films and started being in films, and Ghostface is doing independent products and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Bob, along those lines, outside of what everything, your background with party promotion and the street team and everything like that, and you're currently in the cannabis market space. Are there any other endeavors you want to take your business acumen and talent to see what you can do with?
Well, I'm working on a few things. I have other businesses. Like we were talking before the show, how you were entrepreneur. I also have other businesses. Also, I have a trucking company.
Okay.
I also, one of the things I'm working on now is not directly related to cannabis, but it's a tie-in. I'm about to release an album. Also, an artist. Artist started back in high school. Everything I'm doing now is what I've been doing since I was in high school. So I have an album that's dropping. It's called The Longest Breakup. It's a hip hop album, and it's a concept album. It just details going through a long breakup and how it affects the family when you have kids and when it's hard to leave because of the children and things of that nature. And the first song that we're releasing off that is a song called All the Smoke. And the concept of All the Smoke is how y'all smoking together and you feeling that buzz and everything is great. Then when that high come down, man, you right back to square one. So
yeah, that's for sure.